Hello, Libra, for your reading of January 6th. I got some very interesting images and impressions. So, here we go. My lovely Libra. The first thing that I got was a candle in the wind. And it kept flickering, going out, coming back on, and going out, and coming back on. And I was trying to figure it out. And then I got, of course, and it seems to me, you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to turn to when the rain came in. All right. The next thing I saw was a cookie jar. Big, solid cookie jar like this. And you're opening it up, and it's like, there's just crumbs. When will there ever be cookies for me? It's always just crumbs, and that's what it feels like. So as I'm pulling the cards and I'm aware of these images that my guides have given me, I'm looking at words like hopelessness, isolation. That strikes me as candle in the wind, cookie jar. And what I'm being told here is, my lovely Libras, that you can fill your own cookie jar. That you have had so much of a sense of not knowing where you fit, not knowing how you belong, that you've kind of created this repeated pattern that you're playing out in your head. And you are not really stopping to ask yourself, what is it I want? What do I really believe? The thing with Libra, as an air sign and as being all over and as being very inclined to want to please everybody and make sure everybody's okay, is that you very often really have not allowed your life to be led by what is right for you, what is good for you. And that sense of isolation that you have often felt, and that sense often of hopelessness, when is it going to change, cookie jar situation, has often led you to be a little bit frantic in your way of relating and in your way of trying to find some way to connect. But it's often done with such a degree of anxiety that it's really out of touch with your deeper desires. It's almost like it's going back to your primal needs that weren't met. So what you're being reminded of is, you have the ability, we all do, you have the ability now to change that story in your head. It will take some discipline. And you're being encouraged to look at discipline as a choice to regulate a behavior that has become unhelpful to us, or to establish a behavior that enhances our sense of joy, freedom, and well-being. And you're being asked to do it prayerfully. You're being asked to check in with, why do I think that that's not possible for me to have connection, emotional connection, a sense of belonging, a sense of groundedness? And you're being asked to really check in with that. Was it a message you were given? Was it something you interpreted from just situations around you and people who were, for no bad intent, just not really terribly present? You're being really, the prayerful card comes up for you as kind of a central card. And I'm going to read it for you. This can mean actively praying or invoking the support of a divine presence. Alternatively, it can mean letting your mind and actions reflect an attitude of acceptance, of, or at least the possibility of, a higher power which is there to guide you. It could be maintaining an awareness of something sacred or mystical and acting with the acceptance that it's present even in the most seemingly mundane activities. You choose. Could be all of them, okay? So this is your anchor card. You're being asked to really look at your mind. What structure are you working with? What structure are you working with in terms of two levels I'm getting? What structure have you created on the earth plane, in tangible physical reality, with relationships, with work, with where you live, with how you live, to create some sense of security? Okay? But also mentally, how do you structure your thinking? Do you let it take you off into these rabbit holes where the old story gets played out, where you jump into that emotion and feel bad about it? Because this is not about feeling bad about it. This is not about, you can feel bad about it all you want, but that is just going to create more of that energy. And for you, Libra, it's important because your mind can go off so easily, so quickly. And I don't say that in a critical way. It's part of what makes you creative. It's part of what makes you really connected to other levels of being, if you let it. But if it's just taking you off on a horizontal plane into energies and memories that are not good for you, that's not good for you, because you'll create more of that, right? That's the nature of manifestation. So you're being asked to really look at what is the structure of your mind that has been not working for you. What is your thought process? How has that been incorporated into your physical structure? And you're being told, why not? Who says? You're in control. If that's not the reality you want, it's time to start really creating a structure around something in the nature of prayer and divine presence to encourage you and guide you to stay in that energy of growth, positive spirituality, intentionality, the ability to change, the reminder that you have got the support to do it. And please remember, Libra, it's not just external support, although you've got that. It's internal. You've got it. It's an essential part of who you are. Whatever you have experienced in the past that made you feel like that's not true, whether it's this life, whether it's karma, that is the illusion that you're here to get rid of this time. In order to do that, Libra, it's up to you to decide to take yourself out of the rabbit holes of thought that are perpetuating more of the same energy and decide what structure is going to work for you to keep you in alignment with the reality that you are more than what you think you are, that you've never been disconnected. The disconnection, the sense of isolation, comes from, for all of us, that disconnection from ourself, that disconnection from the fact that we are part of Source, that we are created in that energy, that we have access to that. We have always been connected. And so by reconnecting to that part of ourselves, what we do is we change the frequency of what we magnetize to us. We start having relationships that are different because we start relating differently. As soon as we start relating differently to ourselves and to the story we've told ourselves, as soon as we stop feeling sorry about it and start going, that's what it was. That's what it was. Could have been better. Well, how could it have been better, and how would I like to make it better now? Because that's my choice. That's my job. That's my work this time around. Okay? If you find yourself, and listen, I'm not saying piece of cake, but I am saying it's doable. It's so doable. And it's so much more easily done than people think. It's really a matter of choice. And making that choice and reaffirming that choice. And sometimes you have to make that choice many times in a day. That's where the discipline comes in. Okay? But please understand, as you make that choice, and every time you make that choice, your system, which wants you to grow into this expanded consciousness, into joy and fulfillment, it's going to be easier and easier for it to move you there and override those old neural loops. Okay? And as you do this, whatever is lingering there for you that needs to be challenged, that needs to be looked at so it can be transmuted, dissolved, it will come up for you. And then you'll have the opportunity to use this as fodder, as fertilizer for your growth. Use it as fertilizer for your growth, not as something to throw you back into the old loops, okay? I'm actually really excited about this reading for you because this for me feels like it's not just support to get it done, telling you that you can. It's telling you this is how you can do it. And if it's telling you this is how you can do it, there's a whole bunch of you out there who are ready to do it, who are probably already in the process of doing it. And for many of you, this may just be confirmation of where you're going and what you're already doing. You definitely have the prayerfully card as central in this reading. So I would really, really, really love for you to check in with what is sacred to you, what is spiritual to you, what connects you to that expanded sense of awareness. And I know for a lot of Librans, it's nature. Yes. And worry, that's the thing that keeps you tied to those old rabbit holes. Worry. What do you need to do about the worry? Well, let's see about that. Worry, worry, worry. Worry can be over, oh, hello. Worry can be, excuse me a minute here, over analysis. It can be over planning. Okay, well, here we go. Do you want the problem or do you want the solution? Today, whenever you find yourself complaining about something or someone, and I will add to that worrying about it, stop and ask yourself, do I want the problem or do I want the solution? Answer honestly. You may be surprised at what your response is. Remember not to judge or blame yourself. Honestly acknowledge what you feel, then notice what happens. Okay, so that's great as an awareness activity. How I'm going to read it for you in this is whenever you start going into worry, go, do I want the problem or do I want the solution? Because we know what you focus on, you create more of. So whenever you go to worry, this is my rule of thumb. Have you already thought about it? Have you already considered things? If you have, all right, is there anything new? Has there been any change now in what you're worrying about that warrants you reevaluate? If the answer is yes, then sit down, be quiet, focus on it, and explore it. Do whatever investigation you need to do. Get it out of your head onto paper and into activity. But if it's nothing that's different, that's when you say, okay, I'm going to intervene on my own behalf here because all I'm doing now is creating more energy of worry. And I'm going to be manifesting more. And I'm going to be creating those chemicals of cortisol in my body that are bad for me and that are going to make me more depressed and more anxious. And that's not good. So now I'm going to discipline myself to stay out of worry. And I'm going to say, do I want the problem? No. Okay, then what's the solution? You may not know what the active solution is, but you might notice how you wish to feel. That's all you can, if that's all you can do, that's fine. I love Rick Hansen and his work with positive neuroplasticity, and what he talks about is going for low-hanging fruit. I may have already told this to you. It's a really, really good exercise. He says, when you are working with something that is disturbing for you, sometimes it's incredibly difficult to move into the positive. And of course, we know that because that idea has energetic momentum. It's already got the neuroplasticity in place, the neurons that are going to allow that electrochemical thought to run through very quickly. We know all that. So if you can't intervene on that, what you can do is you can go to something else, low-hanging fruit that you can feel good about, okay? And again, it might be something simple like loving your cat. It might be the feel of the fabric that you like and just really enjoying that, the sun on your face, the breeze, a view, and just allow yourself to feel the pleasure and the goodness of that for 15 seconds, 12 seconds, literally seconds, okay? but embody that feeling and allow that, because that's going to start changing the chemistry that keeps you locked into that way of worry and that way of thought. Now, I realize I could go on and give you all sorts of lectures around this energetically. I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is suggest that what you do is look at what your spirituality is. What is spiritual for you, so that you can move into that concept of prayerfully. And I'm going to put it right there in case you want to take a screenshot of it. Look for what that is for you. Tell yourself that disciplining yourself is about not going into the worry, not going into the negative rabbit holes, intervening on your own behalf, using prayer, using the low-hanging fruit model, and use that to keep yourself moving towards the dreaming of where you wish to be. Okay? You're creating things. Now you've got the opportunity to create what you'd really like. And these are the initial steps to do it. My dears, my very, very dear dears, this is great. I leave this with you for the week, all these cards, and the encouragement is to be fierce, to do this, really do this for yourself. You really can. You really have it in you. So you've got the tools, you've got the intelligence, you've got the techniques. And if you need more techniques, you can go to my website, the link's below. It's all free. You can look for exercises on grounding, how to shift your energy. It's all free. So check it out if you need more, okay? I wish you all the best, my dears. And again, you've got all the possibility to do this. You do. So try to have fun with it. Try to have fun recreating your life along the lines of what you'd like. That's always a good way to lift the energy. Okay, I'm stopping now. Take care. Good luck.